Hello, this is Don Joseph, and this afternoon I'm with Flabia Whitman, and she's going to explain a little bit about the changes that she's seen coming from Peru, Lima, Peru, to the Key Peninsula. She married Bob Whitman on June 27th, 1984, and has been living out here with him ever since. Flabia was born on August 31st, 1949, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about what her schooling was like in Peru and how she became a nurse.
My first plan was different. I was going to be a nun, but I decided to go for nursing career. My mother paid for my schooling in Lima, and I worked 12 years or more in Peru in different hospitals, and I had a sudden change in life that pushed me to see somewhere else for an opportunity to better my life. So I have a friend who was a nurse here in Maryland. There is different friends in different parts of the country, nurses who call me. And when my first husband died, I saw the opportunity of getting out of the country. And I came with a working visa as a nurse. And one of my friends was hired by Bob, my husband, as a nurse, and that's how we met. And we were dating for a while, and then he was deciding to come back to his home part of the country. And he offered me the opportunity to travel with him. I says the only way I can go with you is if you marry me, and he did. That's how we came. We married in Marlboro, Maryland, and we did a trip, 7 days. We took his cars, and it was an interesting trip. We did that twice. And that's how I end up at this nice place. It's a beautiful area. It has a wonderful conditions of living, and I like it very much.
Great. Now, it's not very often that I've ever talked to anybody that spent 51 years in one career, but I understand that your career expanse as a nurse has been 51 years.
Yes, it's a career that it can be very rewarding, emotionally, spiritually, and I always like to help people. And even though the language wasn't a lot of help, well, people got to understand my way to do things, and I care for people. I love my job, and I could be still working if it wasn't for other issues at home.
Yeah. Now, I understand your first language was Spanish, and or some variation of that. What would you call it in
It's
Peru?
Castellano, actually. We speak the Spanish language from Castile.
Okay.
So we call it Castellano.
Okay, Castellano. And could you share with us a little bit about how you were able to learn English after you've, met Bob and been in Washington, D.C. and
Okay, I took a
over.
class in Peru before I came here. I wanted to be prepared for the change of language. So it took me 6 months learning medical English and grammar, and well, the pronunciation was different. So when I came in, it was difficult to understand anyways, because I was working in Washington, D.C., in a lot of black people, and they speak a little bit differently from white people, so I couldn't understand anything. But I took a lot of time trying to learn it, watching TV, repeating the commercials. That helps a lot, and reading and calling on the phone to these places that they have a whole list of things that they can explain to you on the telephone, so I could help my ear on understanding English.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. Particularly the part about learning from the commercials, because you think about it, commercials are usually so concise and, not a big, long, deep vocabulary in them, and it'd be a real easy way to,
Yes, but
to
it's
learn.
repetitive. You see it
Yeah,
so
repetitive.
many times, then you can get it.
Yeah, you can see it over and over. That's neat. It's interesting. What part of nursing were you in? Like emergency room nursing?
Well,
or
in Peru,
geriatric?
a pool nurse, so they would send me to all areas of the hospital. So I was familiar with everywhere in the hospital, even children, just born children. But I end up in there going to the operating room. So I basically focus on being an operating room nurse. Working in the day surgery of Tacoma, I took off my job for a month to go to Peru, and when I came back, I didn't have a job, but it was an opening on the recovery room, so they trained me for the recovery room, and I became a recovery room nurse. So when I went to work to the VA, I could do both. I could be the recovery room and the operating room nurse.
Yeah, that sounds like a very interesting and varied career in nursing that you've had. That's quite impressive. Now, I understand you retired about a year ago, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I won't say forced to retire, but situation in life can sometimes push you to decide for one thing.
Sure.
And I chose to enjoy life with Bob, enjoy more gardening, and take care of things around the house
Great.
with all less stress.
Yeah. What are your favorite things in your garden? Are they the trees or the plants, or do you have some vegetables or?
Yeah, I like plant everything. I have a few fruit trees that I planted. I have a small garden and I plant tomatoes, herbs, garlic, and medicinal herbs that I think they're important to your life that I can use. Things that are useful. And I like flowers. You need the bees, and so you have to put some flowers. And I love the hummingbirds. We started with one hummingbird, and now we have 4 visiting our hummingbird feeder.
Yeah, that's neat. Now, I've just got to guess, since you and Bob have done a lot of traveling through the years, was Machu Picchu one of your favorite trips?
Choquequirao was more interesting.
Oh, now where's that?
It's a bigger area,
Uh-huh.
and it has a lot of different characteristics than Machu Picchu, even though they're almost at the same level.
Oh.
And it's attracting more visitors lately.
Oh, okay. What was that again? I'm sorry.
Choquequirao?
Oh, Choquequirao? I don't.
Choquequirao.
Yeah. Is that in Peru or is that?
It's south of Machu Picchu.
Oh, okay.
It's close to the town where I was born.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
Abancay, right in the mountains.
Oh, okay. Neat. Can you think of any other interesting things that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I love the cruises.
Yeah?
I'd be cruising for life if I could.
Yeah.
There's so much to enjoy in a cruise. I think people should go at least one in their lifetime on a cruise.
Yeah.
Enjoy the food. There were so many activities, shows, movies. There's so plenty of activities that you can be anywhere and enjoying something.
What was your favorite cruise?
Probably Princess Cruise. We went the one we went to St. Peter's.
Yes, but the Baltic
The
cruise.
Baltic Cruise.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we
It was
did
really-
like 7 countries in
Really
about 10 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And see a little part of Russia now that is a lot of talk about it. St. Petersburg is an interesting town,
Yeah.
and they waited for us with open cages of violins and a band.
when we got off the ship.
Yes, we got out the ship.
They were playing America the Beautiful when we got off the ship in Russia. That was kind of different. About a 5-piece band.
About what year did you go to Russia?
Must be at least 10 years away.
Yeah, probably 15.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My favorite country was Budapest.
Ah, okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, we liked Hungary.
Hungary.
Every place we went, they didn't like Russians, except Russia.
Well, Flabia, what was your first impressions, the very first time when Bob brought you home here to the Key Peninsula? What were the thoughts that went through your mind?
Well, the trip entering Tacoma was a little bit scary. He was driving very fast and I didn't know where I was going.
We were driving separate cars. That's we.
I was driving behind him, trying to not to lose him because he was going a little bit too fast. So I don't remember, did you have to come back and get me?
No,
I
not
think
that time.
I kept going and finally catch up with him. I was a very different than Washington DC or Maryland. It was very nice because I like greenery, I like the trees. So it was a positive experience to getting here.
Great, great. Well, we're sure glad you came over here and that you and Bob got together and Bob brought you here to be part of our community, because you've certainly been an asset here to Cottesmore and American Lake, and being a nurse for 18 years in Tacoma. That's really quite a fantastic record in itself, but 51 total in a career, just don't see that anymore. It's neat to see that you're able to enjoy it all that time. Anything else you'd like to add?
No,
Our
I'd like to
discussion.
thank you for this interview.
Yeah.
I feel important being Bob's wife
Oh,
and
yeah,
being interviewed.
yeah. Well, you've both contributed a lot to the community through the years, and Bob's kept us, the engineering functions going, and you've kept the nursing functions going for a long time here.
I'd like
So-
to mention one thing. The house they are fixing right now, and you are part of it, at the
The
school,
library hall.
the library hall
Yeah,
here in Bonn. I think that's a nice work being done for all the group of here that work at the museum. And it's some historic monument really to the area.
yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a good long-term project, and
Yeah.
I know, Bob, you've been working on that for quite a while. We didn't really touch on that very much. Do you have anything you'd like to say about the Bonn Library Hall project?
I enjoyed working on it when I was able. I got in at the very beginning when the place had been converted to a house. It was full of trash. I hauled several loads of trash out of there. It was amazing. And it looks a whole lot better now, believe me.
It's come a long ways from when it
Yeah.
was the very beginning,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah,
Making progress.
yeah, it's quite a
Yeah.
deal. Yeah. Well, Flavia and Bob, well, thank you very much for spending the afternoon here and sharing your experiences with us, and participating in our oral history project for the Key Peninsula Historical Society. So with that, we'll say thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.